Did a 17-year-old father murder his precious, innocent 4-month-old baby? A detective with the Bella Vista Police Department believes, yeah, he did. According to an affidavit on March 4th, 2024, police in Bella Vista, Arkansas were notified about a 4-month-old child that was unconscious and not breathing. According to the father, he placed the baby, the 4-month-old, on a bed so that he could prepare a bottle for the baby. When the baby got about 75% done with that bottle, he closed his eyes and his body just became limp. Now, the dad said at first he thought that this was perfectly normal. The baby had just fallen asleep from drinking the bottle and that was over with. But at some point, the father says that he started to panic. The father said that he tried to call his own mother at work. She did not answer her phone. He tried to call the baby's mother, who is the father's girlfriend, at work. She did not answer the phone. He tried to call his mom again. His mom still did not answer the phone. Eventually, 911 was called and the baby was taken to Mercy Hospital. Now, at Mercy Hospital, the police were there and did try to start an investigation. They interviewed the father. They tried to talk to hospital personnel, and hospital personnel said that the baby was stabilized and the baby would be taken by helicopter to either Little Rock Children's Hospital or Kansas City Hospital. But they also told police that this was a cardiac event and there was no sign of child abuse. So I think the police were like, okay, cool. It was a cardiac event. There's nothing more that we can do here. It wasn't until later that same day that a social worker from the hospital in Kansas City where the baby was taken called the police in Bella Vista to inform them that the little baby had a brain bleed. The caseworker told police that the baby's eyes were fixed and dilated with little to no response. Even though Mercy Hospital back in Arkansas felt like this was a cardiac event with no sign of trauma, Kansas City did not feel the same. The hospital in Kansas City felt that this was a non-accidental trauma. They believed that this was the result of the baby being shaken. The hospital in Kansas City did so many tests. They did x-rays, MRIs, eye tests, brain scans, and even more. Now, they found that there was a brain bleed, scarring behind both eyes, another bleed in the lower part of the spine, and fractures at the base of both femurs. The grandfather of the baby confirmed that his son was the only person that was around that baby that day. There was no one else in the home. The other children were at school. The paternal grandmother was at work. The paternal grandfather was at work. And the mom was at work. All four of the adults were interviewed, and all four confirmed that the baby did not have injuries prior to this. The baby had not been involved in an accident, and the father was the only person that was around the baby. The family made the horrific, difficult decision to take the baby off of life support, and on April 7th, 2024, the baby died. From what I can tell, Bryce Anderson, the father of the baby, was pretty consistent in his story, except at one point he did throw in that the baby threw up and had a little bit of blood in it. But that's really it. He just maintained that he fed the baby, laid the baby there on the bed while he was making the bottle, fed the baby. The baby fell asleep, and then he waited almost an hour and started to panic. After poring over the medical records of the baby and speaking to child abuse medical experts, the Bella Vista detective did decide to charge Bryce Anderson with 1 count of first-degree murder and also first-degree domestic battery. Bryce Anderson, who, like I said, is only 17 years old, was placed in a juvenile facility and he was held on a $500,000 bond. I haven't seen anything saying that he bonded out of that facility, so he's probably still in there. There has been no information released on the name of the victim or anything else except for that the victim was 4 months old. If there is more information that is released, I will certainly update.